Hello and welcome to day 96 of the 365-day meditation challenge, where I challenge myself to meditate for 1 hour a day in 2 sessions of 31 minutes. This is session 2. I have my trusty rusty timer and some pineapple juice, some cold pineapple juice for the session. It's interesting how people think that their mind or their feelings or both are true. And if you go down that rabbit hole, they control you. None of them are true. Your mind cannot produce truth, and your feelings can't either. It's dubious to think that your mind can really be on your side to the fullest extent. It can't. It sees the world in a skewed way. It puts ideas, it puts perspectives, it tries to derive meaning from the things that are happening in your life and feelings as well. And they see the world not through a lens. You might think that the mind tries to see in a rational way, tries to see the world in a rational way, but what it's trying to do is either gain pleasure or avoid pain. Both of them are trying to do the same thing. Avoid pleasure, well, not really avoid pleasure, gain pleasure or avoid pain. Whichever is bigger in the situation, that's what they are going to put on the event that happened in your life. And you have to be very aware of this bias of your mind and your feelings to really construct a different version of reality and around the events that are happening around you, because it tends to skew things so much and denaturate to change the events so much that you start to feel, you start to see, you start to hear things that have never happened. And you start to live in wonderland instead of reality. And instead, what I found very useful is to think every time that I cannot trust my mind, I cannot trust my feelings. It sounds very bad, but it is not clouding my vision of the events that are happening, because I go point by point and I try to reduce everything to its bare minimum. Okay, this person did this. This is what they said. I recount the things that are happening in the event, and my mind keeps going, oh, but that's what they actually meant. They've said this, but this was the behind the words meaning of what they said. So you see, the mind is always trying to persuade you that things were not as they seem. And the feelings as well. Oh, they hurt our feelings. They said this and that hurt us. Instead of viewing the things as maybe mistakes, or like they didn't do it on purpose, they always, both the mind and the feeling, say they did it on purpose. So it is an active disengagement with the mind and the feelings that gets you closer to reality. And of course, don't trust me, just test it for yourself. Let's start the meditation right now. And there you go. The second session is over. I was just, of course, I was thinking yet again. I was thinking. There are two rules that stem from this idea of zero trust in your feelings or your sentiments or your feelings. Well, or your thinking, your mind and your feelings. It's there are two rules. It's a mantra or a rule or whatever you want to call it. I live by those, and it is like this. If it is not useful or I don't want it, I don't keep it. Let me repeat that. If it's not useful or I don't want it, I don't keep it. So if something happened and I have a feeling about it, I try not to, and I don't like it or I don't want that feeling, I try not to keep that feeling. If it's not useful or if I don't want it. The second thing is that we cannot really understand or comprehend the idea that we do not own our feelings. We do not have them. They have us. And it's the same with the mind. The point is that those things are coming to you. Every single time something happens, you cannot help it. Those things come to you. You have things you think about those events that have been happening, and you also have feelings. And they amount to an interpretation of the event. But the event is separate, and you can see that a bit more objectively by going down the list of what really happened and what was said and what was the thing that really ended up as a, I don't know, as a prize or as a loss. Because I've seen so many people just argue over nothing. It's preposterous. Like, people like to argue over nothing. There is nothing on the table, nothing to be won, everything to be lost in terms of like energy and they spend so much time just being annoyed and arguing for nothing. This has more value. This little small coin that everyone tosses has more value than the arguments that they are putting forward. Like, there is nothing to be won. There is no value there to be except for ego gratification. So the second rule is simple. Be careful of what's on the table. If there is nothing on the table, why are you in this argument? Why are you like really putting yourself out there in this manner? Why are you spending so much energy just doing over nothing, over absolutely nothing? And that's the point. Like, most of life is, there is no consequence and there is nothing on the table. Sure, if someone is trying to steal your bag or something like that, there is something on the table. There's something real on the table there. Your bag or your laptop or your phone. You understand? Like, if there is nothing to be really gained, there is no object of importance over there except your need to be right or ego gratification, then that's just, you end up just losing in that. No matter if you win, it's a win that is fruitless. Not only fruitless, but it feels empty, because it is empty. You end up, it's fool's gold. You just don't get anything and you feel more drained than you started. So it doesn't get you anything. Thank you for watching and see you tomorrow.